Okay, so on the forearms, made it completely seamless on one side and left it open a little bit to bring my hand through, but honestly I couldn't get my hands to go through it comfortably enough to do that repeatedly for trooping. You know, it does flex quite a bit, and I did cut off to get more room. I mean, my hand will fit, but so I mean, this idea works. I just want to now show maybe another idea that I'm thinking. So for instance, this is the right one where the comp peg goes. It's still going to get glued and be completely seamless, but on this side I'm actually going to use elastic on the inside. Another thing I did is I cut off some more of this return edge. It's normally about out to here, so kind of cut that in half on the open side. This side basically is the same length. And I had some 3-inch elastic. Put an arrow on it because it's 3 inches wide, and I cut this 3 inches long. And then the next one I cut at 2.5 inches long, and then the next one 2 inches long. And I'm going to use that larger portion down here, and then so 3 inches this way, and then 2.5 inches this way, and then 2 inches this way. And I've kind of marked it in here with the pencil I wanted to go, and then I went through and sanded that up. I actually used the Dremel wheel, and I put arrows because you want to make sure that when you glue this in place, you know, it's going to stretch in the right direction. I would say glue it to the elbow side first, because this piece is going to overlap, and you can see here this portion's still smooth because that's going to be overlapping that flange. So there's not going to be any elastic gluing to that portion. So I say glue this one here first, and then you'll glue it to the other side. So I'm going to do that with CA glue. I'm just going to saturate the elastic into place here. So again, I'm using the 3-inch, going to line it up like so. Make sure you're wearing gloves. Stuff is nasty stuff to get on your fingers. It will literally bond to your skin. Okay, so in order for it to totally embed, I'm actually putting CA glue on both sides. So like I said, I'm saturating the elastic. Okay. One, and stuff does get kind of hot, so that's another thing. Kind of be careful and letting that really bond there well before you start to stretch on it. So that's the idea. You got a 2-inch, 2.5 inch, and a 3-inch, and that's going to then bond to the other side. So you're going to clamp this side, or if you choose to glue that side, and you're going to want to stretch this elastic and glue it in place so that you make sure that it wants to live so that it doesn't kind of flop open. You really want to make sure the elastic has a good snug stretch to it to make sure it stays in place, and this side will be glued in place. So I gotta let that completely cure. Probably put some more CA glue here in the corners. There you go. And just really make sure it's in the corners and smoothed out a little bit. So I don't want anything rough or jagged. Like I said, the CA glue dries kind of like rock, and I don't want that to scratching up my Under Armour when I'm sliding my arm in and out of this. So just try to make it a little bit nice and smooth and comfortable in there as well. Let's see what's going on that way. You see that stuff crystallizes and smoke. You don't want to breathe that stuff, so doing this in a well ventilated area is advised. Plastic's just getting a little hot, so I'm cooling it down. Alright, so that's the elastic glued in place now. So now this side needs to get glued, and then I think I'm going to then attach the let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to have to glue this side next. Definitely want to clamp this in place, make sure it is where it's supposed to be. And I'm actually going to overlap that other side while I'm gluing this, just so it's going to want to naturally snug into place. I'll hold that down with that glue kind of kick. Again, I'm squeezing it to a smaller circumference than what it should be. Making sure everything's compressed nice and tight. The CA glue stuff kicks pretty quick, so you really got to be able to move fast with it. Probably some more in between here. Filling in the seam with CA glue rather than Bondo, because I mentioned before, the CA glue is what's actually going to hold this together. And still squeezing it tight. So I'm doing is I'm trying to force it so that this side wants to stay pretty close and tight. I'll take these clamps off here, and actually going to go ahead and tape it. Squeeze it together and tape it, overlapping it quite a bit. And then now gluing the inside seam to the seamless side. And I'm just putting the CA glue on the edge there and letting the gravity let it run down. Gets to the very end. And spraying the CA glue, and it's going to lock both seams there. Hopefully you can see that there in the camera. You see it turn yellow. So So it went all the way down to the wrist, so that I know that this side is now completely glued and it's not going to go anywhere. It's pretty well smoothed out. I don't really have to add any more there. Sometimes I'll fill in if there's a divot. I'll fill it in with CA glue, so I only have to put a little bit of the Bondo. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the moment. I want to let that CA glue completely cure before I glue the other side of the elastic to the inside of the forearm, so I can make sure all the tension is properly sound before I try to pull on it and have something break loose. So that's another option as far as leaving the underside completely open but using elastic to help keep it closed. So I'll show you the next steps in just a few minutes.